Welcome on back, everybody, to episode 98 of Streaming with the Mouse. I am back to talk about What If. I just love this show. I can't wait to talk more about it. This episode was probably, I'm going to say it, this is probably one of my favorite episodes. I'm very excited to talk about it with Cliff. Sit back, relax. This is Streaming with the Mouse. Welcome on back, everybody, to episode 98 of Streaming with the Mouse. My name is Cameron Ramos, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, my co-pilot, Cliff. Cliff, say hello to nice people.
Hello and welcome back. You, in your introduction, you say you're back. I never left.
You never left. Huge shout out to Megan for helping us out last week, especially in my absence. I was super pumped you guys got an episode out to talk about the What If Thor episode. But this episode, Cliff, was fantastic. I think it's one of my, I said this in the opening, I think it's one of my favorite episodes of the series so far. There's some little bit of competition. We'll talk about that when we get to it. But happy to be back. The honeymoon was awesome. Disney World is unreal right now. Good times. But happy to be back talking about What If.
Yeah. Did you see all 50 of the statues? I was watching you and I saw it get up to 49 and I'm like, did he get the last one? I never saw it.
The last day we got Orange Bird, which was near Skipper Cantina. So for those of you that don't know, for the 50th anniversary, all around the 4 theme parks, they have these gold statues of different characters around all Walt Disney World along the 4 theme parks. They're the same statues as the toys you can get. A lot of the statues are doubled up, so like Groot and Rocket are on one statue, but that counts as 2 characters. So me and my wife did a little scavenger hunt where we found all 50 of them throughout the trip and took selfies with them, which is pretty cool. Galaxy's Edge, I know this is a Disney Plus podcast, we'll get to it. Galaxy's Edge is the greatest thing I've ever been to in my entire
life. Is it?
It is hands down. It was to the point where even, like, I built my lightsaber finally. For those of you that are watching right now, there's my hilt. I got the protection and defense one. It's awesome. Even my wife was like, wow, that was like worth the $200+ like after the experience. So that was a big win for your boy here. That even Lisa was like, nope, that was worth it. And I'm like, yep, that was good. Lisa, my wife, got to build a droid. That was pretty fun as well. So we had a great time. Blue milk is great. Green milk is just okay. Oga's Cantina is fantastic. Disney World is awesome. Can't wait to go back 38 days until my next trip at the time of this recording.
How will you survive?
That was the one thing. It was tough leaving because I hadn't been there in 2 years, but like knowing, hey, I'm going to be back in, at that time, 40 days. That made me feel a little bit better.
Very true. Mine is in still loading.
Yes. Maybe we'll get there for some golf, Cliff.
Maybe one day, but also happy we're recording this on National Coffee Day.
Yes.
Did you get your free coffee, or did you get your coffee of the day from somewhere, from one of the places?
I just made my own this morning.
You made your own?
In my little Food and Wine Festival Remy cup that I bought.
There you go. There you go. I got my Dunks, and it came with a free coupon. So you know what?
There you go.
All that matters. But yes. We do have some Disney Plus news today. The biggest news of the week, for sure, and absolutely incredible to finally get it. The Simpsons season 32 is now on Disney Plus. For those,
no, you've all been waiting for it. We're gonna review every episode. We'll review all of the 800 or whatever episodes.
No, technically, it's not a Disney Plus original, so no.
True.
It's I believe it's is it Fox or FX at this point?
Fox.
But no, the big news of the day that we got earlier, and I thought we already had it, but I didn't realize we didn't, is that the Book of Boba Fett will be released on Disney Plus on December 29th in such a bastard way to release a show that you say is coming out in 2021. How dare you, Lucasfilms? What a rude what a rude thing to do.
Let's talk about rudeness, Cliff. I was at work. I was in a meeting. I didn't get a single text from anyone, including you, that the news came out with the date. I had to go on Twitter and I saw Clifton Paul Robinson retweeted like 36 minutes ago the Book of Boba Fett. And I was like, that was the rudest thing ever. The podcast almost ended. No, but I'm so excited. We had this assumption. I think we talked about this months ago, Cliff, when they said the show was coming out and they were still filming it. They're gonna get it in at the last possible second to say, oh yeah, it came out in 2021, but really it's gonna be just one episode and that's it, and then the rest will come out next year. I don't care. We're gonna have it at this point. It's gonna be great.
It's just funny. I thought we had it because in my mind, I don't know why I was like, "Oh, we're getting Hawkeye and Boba Fett at the same time." We're not. We kind
It's
of
going to
are.
be one after the other.
Kind of are. But it was even weirder because this morning I was talking to another friend about this episode, and then I start talking. I'm like, oh yeah, then we have Hawkeye and Book of Boba Fett, and I start talking about Book of Boba Fett and how we know, like the friend was like, oh, I really hope it doesn't. It's not a prequel. It's not like always in the past. I'm like, no, what we know is that from Tamora Morrison's mouth himself. So I'm not counting this as a spoiler. Is that we're getting. It's going to be Boba Fett's vengeance. It's going to be him righting his wrongs, or whoever wronged him is getting righted. But also, we also have confirmation that we're going to have flashbacks to Empire Strikes Back, and maybe even Return of the Jedi. We know we'll probably see him escape the Sarlacc, but that's all very cool to me. And they were like, and he was like, "Yeah, gotta love that de-aging." I'm like, with him, you can keep his helmet off, his helmet on the whole time.
No extra magic you have to really do for it.
Yeah, Tamora's voice hasn't changed since then, which is really cool. But also, and I'm not going to spoil the names, but we do know that this is going to be an interlude. So this pretty much is Mandalorian season 3, but instead it's more of a break. So I forget what chapter we ended on with the Mandalorian.
14, 16, 16.
Whatever it is, the first episode of Boba Fett seems to be chapter 17.
Cool.
So pretty cool, and it's kind of cool. It's more like a storybook of the Mandalorians.
Yeah.
So this is going to be very cool. I'm excited. And then we still have Hawkeye first and one more week of What If, and then we have a break.
But here's the thing too, though. This is why I'm getting a little confused. We're supposed to be getting Miss Marvel. Are we just not getting that now anymore?
We're not getting it we're not getting it in 2021 anymore. Supposedly, I mean, if we haven't had it at this point. Supposedly, they have pushed it back to February 2022.
Okay, so then we get a little bit of a break there, kind of. So that's not terrible then. Yeah, because I was like, they were adamant a couple months ago. Nope, it's still coming 2021, but I don't know where you fit this in between.
You don't.
I mean, it's October 1st is literally on Friday. I don't know how you fit this in, especially when Hawkeye coming out Thanksgiving weekend or week, the Wednesday before, I believe. Yeah, so it's gonna be almost impossible to get it all in there. But whatever, we'll take whatever we can get. We got the Haunted Mansion Muppet special coming out this Friday. We obviously have one more episode.
We'll definitely be doing that one. That'll be next. Yes. That'll be the weeks after. We'll have We will have a Halloween episode for you.
Yes. Did you guys talk about Disney Plus Day last week?
Yes, we did. We did talk about Disney Plus Day. We'll have an episode for that. I do want to ask you a question before we dive into What If.
Yes.
Have you watched any of Star Wars Visions?
I have. I've watched 5 out of 9, I think.
5 out of 9, yes.
I've watched 5 out of 9. So far, I really like. It's not called Ronin. It's
the first one, the Duel.
The Duel. I loved the Ninth Jedi. I loved that one. Some of the other ones, I'm gonna be honest with you, didn't really care. What was it, Tatooine Rhapsody?
Tatooine Rhapsody almost made me stop completely. It almost made me be like I almost like turned it off. I also made the mistake of not realizing that they default the audio to Japanese, and I'm sitting there and I'm like reading the subtitles. I'm like, oh, this is cool, and then I'm like, wait, they announced like a star-studded American English voice cast, and I switched it, and then yesterday I finished the rest of them, but I rewatched The Duel in English, and The Duel is just incredibly beautiful.
I think that was a you problem, because mine was automatically in English when I was listening.
No, multiple people had that issue.
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah.
Mine was automatically in English. The Duel is fantastic. I will say I like the animation style in that Tatooine Rhapsody. We'll probably talk about this eventually, but
one day.
I like the animation on Tatooine Rhapsody. I couldn't have cared less about the story. I'm sorry. I'm sure it was great. Some people might have liked it, but not everything Star Wars is going to be for me, and that's okay.
I will say, I won't, not going to spoil anything. My favorites were The Duel, The Village Bride.
That was a good one too. That I like.
And The Elder.
Have not watched
Elder.
That one yet.
You have to watch that one tonight. The other ones that I thought were good, I just want to put in like, oh wow, this really blew me away, was The Twins.
That was my favorite animated, I think, so far.
I liked the concept the most, I think, of that one.
I've not seen that one either.
I didn't like I'm not an anime fan. I'll put that out there. So when it gets extremely over the top, you kind of lose me a little bit. The Ninth Jedi and also Lop and Ocho.
Is that the
So,
bunny one?
yes, it's
Okay,
much better than you think it is.
Okay, I haven't watched it.
And then TOB one was cute. It was
Yeah.
interesting. I think the thing that this reaffirmed for me the most, and I'll just put this out there, it kind of makes me feel like I understand the influence of that Japan has had on Star Wars, literally the concept of Jedi,
The samurai, yeah.
the samurai-esque. I don't see where we're gonna get a canon form of Visions. I don't really
I don't
think
so. Maybe Ronin.
I don't think it's the best median to depict it unless you want to go American anime style and go Avatar animation style, because that lets you incorporate fun anime-esque stuff without going to that over the top where sometimes I'm like, okay, this is like Star Wars isn't believable to begin with, but like what you know about the universe of Star Wars, you're like, okay, this is like katana lightsabers, so cool. We got that. We're getting that in the High Republic. That's just my whole like. I'm like, maybe this median isn't the perfect way to do Star Wars, but it's still cool. I wouldn't mind.
Still
if they,
very fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if they keep doing non-canon stuff.
Sure, for sure. And I'm fine with people were like, "Oh, I'm not watching this. It's just not canon." I don't know why. It's Star Wars is Star Wars.
Oh, it's not canon. I'm not watching
so
it. Then they read all the EU books.
Yeah. So, no, I Star Wars Visions, like some was that, but overall, Star Wars is Star Wars. It's always fun. So cool to see other people's takes on Star Wars. But Cliff, speaking of animation, let's talk about What If, the penultimate episode of season 1. What if Ultron won? Initial thoughts on this episode, real quick.
Really good. I kind of had the guess. I think I said it last week on this episode that this Agent Romanoff is gonna be the one. It's gonna be this is gonna be the one person tied to Ultron that we know. For people that are curious, this has the highest rated score on IMDb for any of the What Ifs at 9.4. There's only 2,600 ratings, but still, it's significantly higher than majority of the episodes so far this season.
Yeah, I really dug this story. It was a very quick 30 minutes, but I just really dug everything about it. I thought the artwork was special in this, especially the big fight scene. We'll talk about that soon. But let's get into it. So the way we started off all these, more or less, is what was the Nexus event? In this case, the Nexus event was that the cradle that hosts Vision's body from Age of Ultron while Ultron's trying to upload himself into it does not get stolen by the Avengers. Instead, Ultron is successful, is able to input his AI into Vision's body, and Ultron just kicks the living crap out of all the Avengers for the most part. He even is able to hack into the nuclear codes and sets off basically a catastrophe across this reality's version of Earth. Really cool scenes. Natasha Romanoff and Clint Barton are able to survive because they were up in a Quinjet when these atomic bombs went off. But what were your thoughts about the Nexus event, this opening scene? I thought it was very cool and very scary how that one moment really shakes this whole thing up.
Another death for Tony Stark.
Yeah, can we stop with this? I know. I'm sad. It's not that I'm mad about it. I'm just sad. Like, stop killing my boy in my face. I've had to seen it too many times this past 8 weeks now, whatever it is. It's been crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely been something. I thought it was really cool. We knew that the nuke codes were endgame for Ultron in Age of Ultron, and I think that the biggest issue with this episode, to a lot of people that I've seen, including myself, is that this just proves stop making these villains one-off. They're so much better. They're so much better than being a one villain movie, and I have that about multiple villains, but especially Ultron and then Obadiah are the two that I'm like, why did you kill them off?
What's nice about Ultron is you could potentially bring him back in some way, shape, and form. Mm-hmm. So you could do another version of Age of Ultron kind of a thing, which is nice. But I definitely agree because Ultron's fantastic in this. Probably one of my favorite moments of the series so far is that after this I can't pronounce that word. I don't know why I even tried doing it. This catastrophe that happened on Earth because of Ultron.
Cataclysmic? Is that the word you were going for?
Yep, it absolutely was. Thank you very much. Thanos all of a sudden shows up with 5 of these 6 Infinity Stones. Obviously, the 6th one is with Vistron. We'll call him Vision's Ultron body. And you think, oh, this is going to be a cool fight. Nope. Mind Stone, split you in half, Thanos. You're dead. 5 Infinity Stones coming up into the Vision Ultron combination. Unreal. I love how quick and fast that happened. It was just like, nope. My one Mind Stone, I'm so powerful right now as Ultron. I have all this conscious whatever. You're done. See ya, Thanos. Bye-bye. Your thoughts on this, Cliff?
They really nerfed Thanos.
Yes.
This whole series has been about like nerfing Thanos.
Which I love. I appreciate it. I'm not mad about it.
Everyone was like, but shouldn't Vision have been able to do this then? No. Because in Infinity War, what happens is Vision gets stabbed by the Glaive, by Corvus Glaive, which pretty much nerfed Vision's power, like took away a substantial amount of Vision's power. So that is why Vision could not have done that in Infinity War. So it actually makes sense that he would have been able to, if he so chose.
Right. No, but very, very cool stuff there. So Vision now is in possession of all 6 Infinity Stones, which is just a scary, scary thought. And we see how scary it is, because he's literally able to like just wreak havoc on the multiverse. While this is also going on too, hang on, I'm so sorry. I can't read my own handwriting. Okay, got it. Sorry. Okay.
It happens.
While this is going on, the Watcher is watching all this, and this is probably the most Watcher we get in the series so far, and I appreciate it. He becomes an actual character instead of that little background narrator kind of thing. He comes really close to finally interfering with the multiverse, because Ultron is becoming so powerful, and Black Widow and Hawkeye are trying to look for Zola's AI to help destroy Ultron, and Clint almost gives up hope, and that's when the Watcher really is like, oh, I need to step in here, has that moral dilemma, can I break my oath, Luckily, Black Widow finds the paperwork that has Zola, where they're able to go into Russia and get that AI to see if it can help destroy Ultron, but we really get that debate, that moral consciousness in the Watcher of, do I break my oath, do I not? And I liked how it progressed in this episode, but how do you think that moment felt in that specific scene right there?
I was really hoping, like, he could have interfered without interfering. That's the biggest thing. He could have knocked the box off.
But that's interfering.
But he accidentally bumps the thing, and it falls down.
I appreciate how much he's into his oath in this.
It's even funnier because we know in the comics he's the biggest, like, oh, time to interfere.
Yeah.
As I watch, so I was hoping he was going to interfere, but especially because he already came to the realization that, oh crap, I'm screwed because this is a threat to the entire multiverse.
Right. And that's the thing, is Ultron, he destroys his world. He's able to finally hear the Watcher. The Watcher's narrating, and he actually hears him. Kind of like how Doctor Strange Supreme heard the Watcher in that episode, what if he lost his heart instead of his hands. And he's able to hear the Watcher, and the Watcher is really shook. He's in that Nexus reality realm, I don't know what you want to call it. And Ultron essentially tries to hunt the Watcher. He has all the Infinity Stones. He's able to bounce around the multiverse. And the Watcher is totally freaked out, which you can understand, and definitely, like, yeah, I get this. Like, you're not supposed to be seen by anyone, and this AI Ultron in this Vision body with all 6 Infinity Stones is on the hunt for you, which is crazy.
Yeah, it was a lot, and the fight scene was even better.
And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But going off that, basically they're able to bring AI Zola into the world, but he's supposed to help defeat Ultron by going to the Prime Ultron body, which is the Vision body, and trying to shut it down. However, it can't, because that Ultron Vision is off universe, not even off planet. I was about to say off planet, but off universe. Hawkeye sacrifices himself to save Natasha, and the AI Zola. And Zola straight up's like, nope, he's like not in this universe, and that's because Ultron finally finds the Watcher, and the two do battle throughout different universes throughout the entire world, and it is insane. because a big part of this is that Ultron destroys Earth, and then in that same universe, he destroys all these other planets. Ego, he destroys Xandar, even destroying Captain Marvel in a fight with her. And finally, once everything is destroyed and he brings his version of peace, he's able to hear the Watcher, he finds the Watcher, and the two do battle across the multiverse, which was so cool, so well animated. Your thoughts on this fight, Cliff, because I know you wanted to talk about it.
Absolutely insane fight. It makes me want the Watcher in live action, because it's just it was so cool, because he is strong enough to fend off the Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
So now we have confirmation that Infinity Stones do work outside of their multiverse.
Yes.
But certain beings are still stronger than they're strong enough to withstand them.
Especially
The Watcher probably
beings.
the Watcher probably could not have beaten or like overwhelmed him, but the Watcher wouldn't have died without a substantial attack from the Infinity Stones.
He was able to hold them off a little bit, and the fight scenes were incredible. The switching of, okay, here's some people from Wakanda, here's people on this planet, here's people, here are Skrulls. Basically, they're going across the multiverse. People can see the Watcher. They're actually taking cell phone video recorder from him.
That's what really had him shook.
Yeah, and the fact that Ultron even taunts him like, "Oh, you're finally out in the open instead of being like a creep watching everything. You're finally in this world." There was this one scene too where Ultron looks like he's like Galactus, where it looks like he's devouring. That was incredible. I hope that's a tease that we do get Galactus in some way, shape, or form, whether that's in Eternals or Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania or something. I hope we get that soon, because that looked big time like Galactus, and that was pretty cool. But the fight doesn't end in a win or loss. It basically ends with the Watcher escaping, and he runs into no other than Stephen Strange from that episode. What was that, episode 4?
Well, he went there on purpose.
Right, he escapes. Yeah, he escapes to that little bubble that Stephen Strange basically created for himself when his whole reality was destroyed at his hand. And this was a cool scene because the Watcher is finally like, nope, I have to break my oath now. At this point, he hadn't really broken his oath. He kind of had that fight scene, but that's because he was on the attack. Now he knows, I have to physically, mentally break this oath, and that I need to team up with people across the multiverse, we assume, based off some of the trailers that we're seeing. And that Doctor Strange basically convinces him, like, yep, I was right. You're wrong. You need to intervene. We need to stop this guy before he ruins the entire multiverse, which was just really, really cool. The fact that we get that version of Doctor Strange, because I was a big fan of it. I know you were as well. Your thoughts on him escaping to this bubble? I'm going to call it a bubble reality for Stephen Strange.
I was expecting the first person to be Captain Carter. That's who I was expecting was going to be like the first. It makes sense that the first person you go to is the only other being so far in any of the multiverses to almost crack a multiverse.
And the only person that acknowledged him at some point too.
Yes. So it makes sense. Just really cool. And also I thought Benedict, it really showed that like he's not a villain. He's definitely an anti-hero. He's not a true hero, but he's definitely an anti-hero, but he's definitely not a villain. That's what really confirmed it.
Right.
But I'm glad he kind of brought back some of like Doctor Strange sitting in his time prison for all of eternity. Definitely humbled him, but also kept the sense of humor.
Yeah.
Which was good.
And we have to assume that this is going to be leading to all the characters we've met throughout the series. We have to assume coming together in one big Avengers-style battle against Ultron this time. So I'm assuming we're going to see Captain Carter. We're obviously going to see Doctor Strange. I'm assuming we get Star-Lord T'Challa. I hope we get Peter. I hope we get Peter Parker. I hope we get... I don't even know who else. Would Killmonger? Killmonger might not be in this. I don't know. That would probably be a little...
He might team up with Ultron.
He could, and maybe Shuri takes over the Black Panther.
Yeah.
That could potentially.
Well, because we know that there's one piece left of Pepper and young Shuri battling in Wakanda.
Right. So there's so many possibilities. Like I said, we're assuming we're going to get all this, but this is finally tying all those knots together. Something I liked about the show is that all the different multiversal episodes were separate, but now I like that they are coming together at the very end. I like that they were their own thing, and now that there's this multiversal war happening at the hands of Ultron, which is awesome, so cool, because Ultron's such a good villain in the comics. We're going to get to see all these characters from these different universes interact with each other, which I think is going to be really special. I think it's going to be really dynamic, and I'm very excited to see it.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. And it's going to be, I mean, they're calling them I think they leaked that they're calling them the Multiverse Avengers.
Okay.
Or the Avengers of the Multiverse. But it's still going to be cool because they're going to get their own Battle in New York scene. And it's going to be really cool to see how it wraps up because, and I wouldn't mind if they keep doing this. Like every season is a new group of multiverse people.
Now, Cliff, I think that's all we have for this episode for a What If. I want to talk about predictions for the finale, but do you have anything else to wrap up What If Ultron won?
We forgot to talk about Hawkeye's metal arm.
Oh, yes, he did have a metal arm.
And people, so the other thing I'm going to say, like, people online were saying, oh, I just love James Spader's voice. Like, oh, he was so good. It's always fun hearing him. It wasn't James Spader.
It was not.
It was not. Read the casting lists, everyone. It was, blanking. It was Ross McQuand, who was Red Skull in Infinity War.
Yes. So pretty cool little tie there.
Cool little tie for sure. The other ones, we do have a new Agent Romanoff, Lake Bell.
So that was a different one from the earlier episodes, or no?
Oh, I forgot she was in earlier episodes.
Yeah, I was like, she was.
Yeah, it's not ScarJo.
Well, that's one thing that's interesting is a lot of these episodes we see some version of Tony Stark dying, and then they give like Black Widow a lot of scenes, which is not bad, not good, just interesting to me, I guess.
For sure. But also, who knows? But it was Jeremy Renner.
Yes.
For Hawkeye, I'm just going through the list before we finish up.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Well, yes. We had the same people that was young Steve, or skinny Steve was Josh Keaton. Alexandra Daniels was Miss Marvel again. That was such a tease. I absolutely, if you're showing us there, I was so expecting Nova.
I really wanted Nova to hear. That was the one thing too, is that Steve Rogers becomes president in one of the universes, and that was pretty funny too. I forgot about that.
It was.
Yeah.
But no, it was good. Predictions. I don't picture.
Here's my question for you.
Yes.
Do we get an end credit scene next episode?
Yes.
And is it live action or is it animated?
I mean, if anything, if you want like a tongue-in-cheek one, if you want to do something that doesn't really talk about the new things, but also like is an end credit scene, you could have one where it's the Watcher, where it's Jeffrey Wright doing his whole like spiel about why he shouldn't be interfering and like talking to himself, narrating, and he's like switching through dimensions, and he ends on a live action one. That could be kind of cool if you want to kind of like annoy people, because you're like, what does this mean? Because the Watcher was introduced as an ally to the Fantastic Four originally. So if that could be a really funny way to kind of do a Fantastic Four thing. There's got to be something, but I think it would either only be a joke that ties into a live action The Watcher, or like what we might see next season.
I do think we get a live action teaser at the end. I'm going to go off on a limb. I do not think this is going to happen, but I want to predict it just in case, for prosperity's sake, be like, hey, I actually predicted this. I think we get Stephen Strange, Supreme, meeting up with Doctor Strange in a very small snippet of like what could happen in Doctor Strange the Multiverse of Madness. That being said, I don't really believe that too much, but if it happens, that'll be cool to predict it ahead of time. I just don't believe it's going to happen too much, because I don't think we're going to get anything Multiverse of Madness until after Spider-Man No Way Home, because I think the events of that are going to have big impact for that movie, but we'll see going forward. But I do think we're going to get a live action little teaser at the end, which will be kind of cool as an end credit scene if they go from that animation to live action, especially if they're bringing one of the animated characters into live action. Maybe we see Peggy Carter as Captain Carter in live action as like a little thing at the end. That'd be kind of cool, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, all this to say the least.
If they do it. I mean, we could be very wrong.
We could be.
But like, I feel like you can't not do one.
Yes, I agree.
I don't know, just to keep up with the Marvel stuff. But Cliff, that's all I got for today's episode. Do you have anything else to add?
I have to jump the gun. Where can you find us on social media, Cam?
You can find me at CamRamos95. You can find the podcast at Stream the Mouse on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Streaming with the Mouse. You can find us on our website, cprob.com/Stream the Mouse. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and iHeartRadio. Hold on. And Spotify. I think I said
we're on everything, if anyone's
everything.
curious.
Search for Streaming with the Mouse. Apple's been weird lately. Apple Podcasts have been weird. I haven't been getting downloads for a lot of my podcasts until it's too late. So I don't
Oh,
know
I
what's going on
get
with that. I don't
it's
think
weird.
it's
I
enough.
on my Apple Podcast, I don't even listen to Apple Podcasts. I just have the podcast app downloaded. It tells me when they release. I'm always like, oh, that's cool. I get them like 3 hours after they release. I'm like, cool.
See, a lot of people, including myself, like I get one podcast that I listen to that comes out Tuesdays at noon, and it's been coming out like on Thursdays on Apple Podcasts, but on
Huh.
Spotify, it's very weird. So I think it's like a glitch or something like that with Apple. But regardless, you can find us all there. Make sure you like, review, subscribe, all the good stuff. You can find us on YouTube too if you want to watch these live. Cliff, where can they find you if they want to talk to you about What If and any other projects coming to Disney Plus?
You can find me at CP Robinson 81.
Awesome. And thanks so much for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week with the season finale of What If. We're sure it's going to be a big battle. We're excited to talk about it, talk about what this could mean potentially for future MCU projects, future MCU animated projects. We're excited to have that conversation. Thanks again for listening. Have a great day and have a magical day.
Bye, guys.